Hey guys, and welcome back to Scotty's Garage. In this episode, we're going to get started on the Lockdown Wagon. This is the Lockdown Wagon. For those of you just joining us, it is a 1968 Valiant Safari that we are taking from a very rusty wreck back to a running, driving street car that hopefully should be able to do drag challenge. So yeah, should be a good thing. Anyway, I've let it sit for a couple years now, probably about 3 or 4 years now, and I stripped a lot of this bodywork back, but because I've let it sit and we do occasionally get some moisture in this shed, it has got a bit of surface rust on it. So today we're going to work on that surface rust, get it off, and yeah, basically I'm going to show you how. Right, so not only is there a lot of surface rust on this car, there's a lot of leaf clutter and that sort of thing. So the top of the roof, where the top cap is, it isn't totally sealed, so leaf litter blows in through the top. I will have to seal that at some point. Just waiting for funds to build up a bit before I can do that, but yeah, we'll get up there soon and get that sealed off. But in the meantime, let's get to work on this roof. So for this job, we're going to use Rust-Oleum rust dissolver, and we're going to use PVC gloves and some sponges and some Scotch-Brite scourers as well. This stuff works really well, as you'll see, and I've used it in the past. Also use old clothing or protective clothing. I mean, we're going to have to put eye protection on, but you know, this is an old hoodie. It has some red stains and stuff on it. See the red stains? That's from the last time I used this stuff. Yeah, so what happens is the acid gets into the hoodie and then turns it a different color. Basically, I think it removes the black pigmentation or something. I don't know. All I know is I've got a lot of red spots on this hoodie from the last time I used this stuff. So old clothing, protective clothing, eye protection, you'll need it all because this stuff has got phosphoric acid in it. So yeah, look out for that. Alright, we'll start off by wetting the roof with water, so let's break up the surface tension on the roof, and then we'll start putting some rust dissolver on it. Okay, we'll start with the water first. We'll just give it a good wipe over. So I've tipped some rust dissolver into this ice cream container. I'm just going to brush it on. So what we'll do is we're going to do a little test. We'll leave that on for about 30 minutes and see what the result is. And then I'll try a test with me scrubbing it in. So that's after 5 minutes. So after about 10 minutes, I've noticed it's starting to get a bit dry in some areas. So what I'm going to do is do a reapplication. You can see there is a difference. It's quite easy to tell where I'm brushing now. And what I'll do is I'll start on the other side doing the scrubbing, and we'll see what difference that makes. Sorry if you can't see me on the camera right now, I'm just trying not to move it. we'll start on the other side. So we're about 25 minutes after applying on that side, so we didn't do any scrubbing on that side, and then 10 minutes later we started on this side and we scrubbed in, and this side, to my mind, it's hard to see because I can see there's reflections and that on the camera, but to my mind this side actually looks better. So scrubbing in with some Scotch-Brite seems to be the way to go. So I'm going to scrub in on that side, and we'll let this side sit for a bit longer, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. I think I'll start applying up that end as well. It's come out pretty good for a first coat. I think we might have to do a second. So I'm just going to wipe a wet cloth over it just to neutralise and dry it off, and we'll have a good look at what we've got. But yeah, I think we'll go for a second coat, but still, it's looking pretty good. Compared to what it was, it's looking really good. Well, that's looking really good. I mean, to be honest, we could run over that with an orbital and it'll have nothing on it, but you know, there's certainly areas here where it's absolutely clean, just bare metal. So yeah, it's a pretty good result, but I think definitely scrubbing it in at the start works, because you look at that area and that's done 10 minutes after this. And those are done 25 minutes after this, and they don't look that much different. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. We'll see what difference a second coat makes. If it doesn't make a huge difference, then we'll just go to like an orbital or something like that. But yeah, looking pretty good. Right, so this time I'm going to try a bit of a free pour. I'm not going to go crazy, but a little bit over here, a bit over here, and we'll start spreading it out with a brush. Yep, don't run away. Wow, it just seems to have an instant effect. I don't know if it's because this lot isn't diluted by any water or anything, but it seems to be working really well. Alright, we'll let that sit for a little bit and give it a bit of a scrub. See how that goes. Not too bad, not too bad. I think the next step is some orbital action with a Scotch-Brite disc, or maybe even some fine sandpaper. Bring it right up to bare metal, just perfect metal. At which point we'll be able to wax some primer on it and won't have to deal with this ever again, hopefully. That is the plan. Alright, there's a couple of pieces over there, they're a little bit heavier that I'm going to have to treat again. I'll do that, but I won't show that on camera, but I'll come back and show you the finished product. Right, so it is a week later. I have removed most of the rust using the rust remover. I'm going to give these a whirl. So we've got a little Ryobi sander here. It's a Velcro pad with a sanding disc on it. Then we've got this one that's marketed as a polisher, but also works as a sander if you want it to. And yeah, I like using these 3M Scotch-Brite pads on them. Works pretty well. So we'll give them a whirl. Hopefully it should come up with nice shiny metal. Right, so let's try this one first. Right, well that's done quite well. So I don't know what grit that sanding disc is, but it's brought back the shiny metal quite well. We'll give the Scotch-Brite a go, but I think this is going to be the process. Sanding disc, then Scotch-Brite, and bring back the whole roof to shiny metal. But yeah, I'll work out what grit that was, and I'll whack a new one in there, see if that's any better. But yeah, this is going to take some time. Right, so I've worked over the whole roof with the sander and it's looking 100% better, 1000% better. It's looking a lot better. And then I've gone over the whole roof with WD spray and a cloth just to help keep the rust away at the moment. People will be saying, oh, just whack some paint on it now. Well, I can't because there's still a lot of these little creases in where the ridges are in the roof. There's bits of surface rust which I have to get in there with like a narrow wire brush or something like that. So I'll go down to Bunnings, see if I can get a drill attachment with a wire brush thing and do in the gutters and everything as well. There's also a lot of low spots on the roof, like, you know, little dents and stuff that it's accumulated over the years. I mean, the car is older than me. It's like, you know, a lot older than me. Well, 2 years older, but you know, it's well over 50 years old. So it's seen some shit, yeah. And it's got a nice ugly scrape up the middle of the roof too, so I don't know what we're going to do about that, whether we fill it or whether we try and knock it out. It's going to be hard to knock out given it's like way over there in the centre, so it's going to be hard to hammer and dolly that. I can try, but I really don't want to wreck the roof any further. So I might do a bit of a test there, but I'll have to go get the hammer and dolly set and try that, see if we can make that happen. But yeah, it's a lot of little low spots where we'll have to either try and knock them out or just fill them in with some spot putty or something like that. So yeah, there's still some work to do before we put paint on this thing. So alright, I'm going to go take a trip down to Bunnings, see if I can get a wire brush attachment for the drill so I can do these edge bits, and then we'll see if we can get this roof totally clean. I mean, that's the aim for this video, is to just get it fully cleaned off. Right, so been down to Bunnings, grabbed myself some wire brush attachments for the drill. We're going to work them in these edges here, see if we can get the last bits of rust and old paint out, and yeah, get this roof looking as shiny as possible. Sorry if you can hear the neighbour's lawnmower going or his dog barking. It's just part of the course when you live in the suburbs. But yeah, let's get this working, see how we go. Wow, that works mint. How good's that? Wire brush for the win. Okay, so we've been over the entire roof with a wire brush into these grooves and stuff like that. So now I'm going to get in there with a Scotch-Brite pad, redo the roof with a Scotch-Brite pad, and yeah, it should come up looking pretty shiny. This thing works pretty well and gives a very nice surface afterwards. I'm still going to do these back edges and side edges, but still the top side of the roof looking mint. Well, that's looking pretty good, isn't it? We have successfully de-rusted the roof. There is some dents and scratches and stuff we will have to sort, but that won't be this week. So yeah, I've sprayed some WD over it, give it a good coating. I will go over it again. I'm going to give it a nice wet coat and let it sit on there. And then yeah, we'll come back here next weekend and, well, start working on those dents and stuff. So whether I pop them out or whether I fill them up, I will decide next week. And you're going to see that on a future episode of this place, Scotty's Garage. See you then.